everyone, this is Mrs. Snowbeck. Today we are going to start Unit 9, and in Unit 9 we are going to study three-dimensional shapes. Now, most of the chapter we're going to be doing volumes and surface areas and lots of formulas, but this first section is pretty fun. It's a drawing section, so we're going to learn how to draw some things that have to do with three-dimensional shapes. The first thing we're going to learn about is the net of a three-dimensional shape. A net of a three-dimensional drawing is a drawing of a figure as if it were unfolded and laid out flat. Imagine that this morning for breakfast you had some Honey Nut Cheerios and you were the person who finished the last of it. You finished off the box and you'll get in trouble from your mom if you don't recycle that box. And so you take your finger and you run it along the seams and you take that box and you open it all the way up so it's totally flat and laid out. That would be the net of the shape. So will you take a minute, think about this cube here, and draw. What would that look like if we unfolded this cube and laid it out flat? So go ahead and pause the video and draw what this would look like. If your drawing looks something like this, then you did it correctly. You should have 6 squares. Now, you don't have to have them exactly where I do. You might have them, not lined up with each other, and that's okay. You might have them at the ends, and that's okay. It doesn't necessarily matter where you put those. You just need to have 6 squares, and imagine if you folded it up that it would make a cube. All right, try this one. This is called a rectangular pyramid. Will you please try to imagine what would this look like if it was laid out flat and draw the net for it. So go ahead, pause the video, draw the net. Here's what I think the net would look like. The bottom was a rectangle or square. It was a little hard to tell. So you would draw a rectangle, and then on each of those sides you would draw a triangle. And imagine folding these triangles up so that they would meet. It would make a rectangular pyramid. One way to draw three-dimensional figures is to use paper like this. It's called isometric dot paper. This way, you can use a two-dimensional piece of paper to represent a three-dimensional figure. Many designers use this technique when they're just beginning to sketch out ideas for a project. Video game designers, architects, lots of people who design things, engineers would maybe use this technique. So what I would like you guys to try to do first is I would like you to try to replicate this capital letter T. I want you to draw another letter T over here on the dots, and I want it to look exactly like the letter T that is there. So go ahead and pause the video and try to redraw that, another T that looks just like the one that's there. So if you're working on this and you're having trouble, what I do is I usually try to copy what they have. So for instance, maybe I would start here and I see a V and it's a 1x1 V. And so what I would do is I would just go over here and I would also make a 1x1 V. Now from that bottom of the V, this goes straight up 2 dots or 2 segments. And so if I go straight up from there, 2 segments, I'm kind of copying what's there. On this left side, it also goes up 2 segments or 2 dots. So here I can go up 2 dots. On the right side, over here, it only goes up 1 dot or 1 segment. So I'll go up 1 segment. Then I can connect. I can connect here. So I'll connect there. And then notice, I'm going to do a couple here at once. It's going to go from that point, it's going to go straight up 1, and then it's going to angle up and to the right 1, 2, 3 segments. So I'm going to go straight up 1, and then I'm going to angle back 1, 2, 3 segments. Then it comes straight down 1, so I'll come straight down 1, and then it angles down 1. Angles down 1. We're getting close. On the top, I need to make it look 3D. So maybe I'll start from this top corner and do this angle back 1. So I'll angle back 1. And then now I'm going to angle down to the right 3 sections. So 1, 2, 3. And then I'm just going to finish off here. I'm going to connect. and then I need to make the rest of my square. So I'm going to go straight down one and then angle in one. So straight down one, angle in one. And there it is. There is our replica of our capital letter T. If you're having trouble with that, I want you to try it again. So over here, try again and try to draw a second capital T. If this is really easy for you, then my challenge to you is try to draw one that's upside down or that's laying on its side. So you want it to be the same shape, you want it to be congruent to this one, but just facing a different direction. So again, pause the video and try a second letter T. So here's one that I drew that is an upside down letter T. Let's try a couple more shapes. Number 4 and 5, will you guys pause the video and try to replicate these? Try to redraw them so they look exactly like the ones that are there. Go ahead, pause the video. So one way to do this is just to copy the front. You could copy this part, right? So what I'm going to do is copy that. And then what you can do is make it 3D by just going out at an angle from each of those corners and then connect, 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 connect. So that's one way that you could try to draw this. If you have to go back and neaten it up a little bit, that's fine. Again, if I was going to replicate this, it's 2 tall and 3 long. So 1, 2, 3. And then I could just draw in the front that kind of matches this front side. And then make it 3D by angling each of those vertices out and then connect. Orthographic drawings are drawings that show the top, left, front, and right views of a solid. These views can then be used to sketch the solid object. So please refer to the example below. What I would like you guys to do right now is you're going to pause the video, and what you're going to look for around your house is either some Legos or some blocks, or if you have like a bag of dice, anything like that. If you don't have anything like that, you could also use Minecraft if you have Minecraft at your house on any device. Because what I want you to do after you find those objects is I want you to try to build this with either your blocks or your dice or your Legos, and I want to see if you can make that. So go find some blocks and then try to build this. Hopefully you're just getting back from gathering some blocks and maybe you had a chance to build this. If not, pause the video and try to build it. Okay, what I want to point out now that you have that built is the orthographic views. These are called orthographic views of the three-dimensional shape. And so what that means is if I was down at eye level and I was looking at this object from the front, from this side, I would see the front of this block, I would see the front of this, I would see this block and this block and this block. I would see those 5 blocks. There would be 3 on the bottom and there would be 2 on top. And even though that one sticks out a little closer to us, you wouldn't really be able to tell that if you were far away looking at this just at eye level. Now, from the side view, and I'll call this the right side. From the side view, now we're going to move around and we're going to stand on the right side of this object and look at it from this side, from this angle. I would see this blue block, and this blue block. I would see those faces of the blocks. If I was eye level and I moved around to the right side, there would be 2 on the lower level, this one and this one. And even though one is back further, I would not necessarily be able to tell that. And then there would be 1 stacked up on top, which is this one over here. From the top, I would be able to see this green one, this green one, this green one, and they would look like they were right in a row. So it would be here, here, and here. And then this green one would be out front. So those orthographic views are 2-dimensional views from a certain side of the 3-dimensional shape. So what you're going to do next is pause the video again. And you're going to use these 3 orthographic views to try to build one shape, one structure. The structure from the front looks like this. From the side looks like this. From the top looks like this. These are all part of the same structure. So using your blocks or your Legos or your Minecraft, try to build this with your blocks. Now that you've got it built, now I want you to try to draw it. So keep that structure nearby and look at it, refer to it, and see if you can draw that structure. Go ahead, pause the video, and try drawing. So this is 3 units long and it's 1 unit wide. So what I did is I started by drawing a V that's 1, 2, 3 by 1. Now the front corner is only 1 unit high. So I'm going to draw that 1 unit high and I'm going to finish off that corner. From the side though, the back, it's 2 units high. So back here it's going to be 2 units high. So I think the structure will look kind of like this. From the front, if you want to draw in the boxes, you can, you don't have to. From the front, you would see 3 on the bottom, 2 on top. So this would be the front side. It's always good to label. From the side, it doesn't really matter what side, but both sides, I would see, let me get a different color. I would see this block and this block, the 2 blue ones. And from the top, I would see 3. So I would see this yellow one, and this yellow one from the top. Here's a little neater example of what that drawing would look like. Let's try one more. So again, using your Legos or your blocks or your dice or your Minecraft, whatever you have, will you try to take these 3 views and put them together and build them into one object? So pause the video, try to build this. Great, hopefully you think you have it built. Now, if you have it built, I want you to try to draw it on the isometric dot paper. So go ahead, pause the video again and try to draw this. Okay, you guys, this is 4 by 4, 4 blocks by 4 blocks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go straight down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to angle down 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the rest of these kind of go across, down, across, down, across, down, across, down, like steps. So that's what I'm going to do. Across, down, across, down, across, down, across, down. And now I think it's only 1 unit wide. So I'm just going to make these all 3D and then connect them. Ta-da! Kind of looks like a staircase. Here's a neater view of what this would look like. Example 8. Draw the front, top, and right side view of the object below. So we want to draw what would this look like from the front, from the top, and from the right. So they're giving us the 3-dimensional shape, and we have to draw the 2-dimensional view from that particular side, the orthographic view. So please pause the video and try these things. From the front, we're going to see 1, 2, 3 on the bottom and 1, 2 on the top. So I think it would look like this. From the top, let me use a different color here. I think we're going to see the tops here 3 in a row and then 1 out front. So there's going to be, in that back row, there's going to be 3 and then there's going to be 1 out front. And from the right, we're going to see a stack of 2 red ones in the back and then 1 on the bottom in the front. So on this side, I'm going to see 2 and then there's going to be 1 block out front. Here's a little neater view of what that would look like. Yes, that wraps up Unit 9, notes number 1. Now you guys are going to do a little bit more drawing. Feel free to use your Legos, your Minecraft, all that stuff while you're doing this practice sheet, Unit 9, Practice 1. Have a great day.